Welcome to Hit High Intensity Tactics. This is Chris Chickenelli, and we're talking everything about how to grow your business. And today I have an unbelievable special guest, Miss Cheryl Force, Senior Vice President of Pure Romance. Cheryl, what's shaking?
Everything's shaking.
Well, I can tell you right now, I know you, of all people, are really busy right now getting ready for a 3,000 plus person or people coming to Cincinnati for a conference, because we're getting into conference season right now. Kids are going back to school. You're having the kind of heat up of all the different networking events, conferences. What better person to ask than you, a person that's planned a bunch of conferences, thrown a bunch of conferences, went to a bunch of conferences, networking events. How does one get the most out of coming and investing into themselves? But how do they walk away with the things that they need to do for their business, for themselves? What are the things that they need to go in there and be prepared with?
I think conferences are really super important. I mean, they're one of my favorite things in the business because it helps you find energy and come alive and be rejuvenated. And I think you leave a conference with so many different ideas and things that you want to try that it's like the lifeblood of it's a refresher.
Yeah. I always say when people are going to come to conferences, it's kind of like they just drank like 10 Red Bulls. They walk out like, woo, I'm excited. I can't wait to do whatever. And it's crazy because you either talk to people that are very dialed in after they leave conference, like, oh, I got the one or two nuggets. But then how do you deal with that one person that comes home and goes, gosh, I have a whole notebook worth of stuff? How do you kind of hone them in? How do you get them to kind of, after post-conference, to take a couple ideas and run with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about staying true to your core. So whatever business you're in, to make sure that you know right now what's working. And when you walk into a conference, it's all about finding those little tweaks, the little nuggets that you can enhance what you're already doing. I think sometimes you can binge on so many new suggestions and ideas that if you try to implement that like any habit you're putting into play, I mean, you can paralyze yourself. So you pick 2 or 3 things right out of the get-go. You try adding those into your routine and then keep going back to your notes and looking for those other nuggets.
All right. So what about pre-planning before you go in a conference? Are you a big pre-planner of like, okay, what am I going after? What am I trying to get focus in on about this conference? How do you pre-plan, or how do you assist and talk to some of the people that are coming to an event to get ready for that, to get the most out of it?
Well, I mean, I think wherever you're at, knowing what you want to improve upon, knowing what your game plan is of like, if I could walk into this event and get X, Y, Z, then I know I'm going to be in a better place. And so it's really about knowing where you're at and what do you want to improve and where do you want to go and having that end game in mind.
You know, do you think that most people don't know though? And I think I get that a lot. I don't know what I need. I just need something. I need I feel like I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so like, there's so many things that I think I should do. How do you get that person really kind of focused in? Because I think that's a big focal point, because everybody wants to spin 20 plates. They all want to I want to do this, I want to do that. And it's just like, that's not going to get you to the end result.
Well, it's likely that person's not looking for tactical, right?
Yeah.
That person's looking for energy. They're looking for excitement. They're looking for that internal motivation and drive that helps you propel forward. So to me, sometimes when you walk into an event, that can refuel you. It might not be the nuts and bolts of how you're doing your business or how you're improving what you're going after, but it could be that energy and that feeling you get after walking out of an event, like, I'm going to do this.
You know, I think a lot of people come to events looking for motivation. I'm like, now after doing 19 years of events, throwing them myself, partaking in them, some of these I've been going to. Now I'm walking in with a different mindset. I think it's almost like wine. Our palate changes over a period of time. I think what we go into conferences with, before I'm like, please just give me motivation. My tank is like on empty. But now when I'm going into conferences, I've learned that I'm here to motivate myself. I'm here to, give myself the energy, the guidance, the whatever. I'm really, when I go into conferences today, I'm looking tactically, and I'm looking for those, 1 or 2 different points of differentiation with my business, what I'm trying to kind of go after. How do you get one focused that sits back and goes, I really want to go, like when we were in Texas, right? And I'm sitting in that conference, and and I'm seeing all these $1 billion organizations. I'm like, why aren't we $1 billion? And I started putting all these limiting beliefs, like we're not $1 billion because of the category. We're not $1 billion because not everybody wants to sell relationship enhancement products, or we're not $1 billion company because, we're not in, 19 different countries and all this other crap that I kept making. But I was so focused after that one nugget of listening to somebody as I sat there and was pissed off because I was like, you make it sound so freaking easy, but I put all these limiting beliefs and I'm like, what am I doing? I need that big BHAG goal. That was a conference I was not wanting to go to. I was drugged to. I wasn't looking for any motivation, and I walked out with the best tactical information that I could ever had, the best motivation, because I stopped at that moment giving myself excuses about why I couldn't be somewhere. And I said, screw it. It's not if, it's when. And I think that that's a big aha moment for a lot of people. How do you, are those moments, you can't force those moments, but how do you get somebody to kind of get that granular with their business?
Well, I think it's realizing that one little tiny nugget can have such a huge ripple effect. Like, you called me the night before that conference and you were like, yeah, I think I'm going to send you with the team. I'm not sure I'm going to make this one.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, you got on the plane and you got yourself to Texas. And I remember watching your physical reaction when you had that aha moment. And I think in business, it is that little tiny nugget of information. People are looking for the next big, huge idea. They're looking for the next big, huge thing. And oftentimes within your own business, it's that little tiny idea that has a ripple effect into everything that you do, how you feel, how you approach your business, the goals you're going after that. And I think that's what people, when they're looking at conferences and investing their time and money in that, you need to go in with an open mind to say, it could be that tiny thing that just changes my viewpoint on everything.
And that's exactly what it was for me. Because literally, there was no system I learned. There was no new way of onboarding. There was no new way of sponsoring. There was no new way of, here's how to social sell that was any different or any unique. It was literally, why aren't you $1 billion organization? And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? And that was a big eye opener, but it was a little nugget. So people always ask when you go to conferences, it doesn't have to be a new system, a new whatever. It just could be a new challenge. It could be a new way of thinking or seeing things from other people's perspectives or of how they do it. And I think that's important. So as people are planning and as they're going and as we're getting into kind of convention and network season and trainings and all kinds of different things that people are going to, what are other ways that people should come to these events prepared with? Is it, with what kind of items should they come with? What things should they be packing with them?
Well, I think we've talked about mindset, but I think the mindset to be open to meeting other people. Like, just don't be the sheep in the crowd, right? Mm-hmm. Because sometimes with large conferences, you're one of many and you're in a sea of people. You've got to look for those opportunities to have the conversation, to make that connection. Because to me, a conference that's going to help your business, it's about building your contacts list in your phone so that if you come up across a problem or a challenge, or maybe you need a service, it's likely you're going to meet somebody at that conference that has similar interests, that could help you in your business. Yeah. Like, you got to make those contacts. So I think having an open mind for sure, and being willing to talk to other people.
I know this might seem odd to you, but my first couple of conferences, I was shy to go up to sit down with people and talk to them. I don't know what it was. I was just like, I felt like I got to go to this because I got to do it for my knowledge or for my whatever. My best conferences were not when I came in and not talked to people and not, my best conferences were the networking that I was able to do with different CEOs or different people that were in the event. The ones I was in my beginning of my career when I was not as probably outgoing, I just because I didn't think I had a lot to offer to other people. So therefore I was building a business, from $1 million, I think at the time we were doing $2 to $4 million. And here's all these companies that are doing 50 and 60 and $100 million. I didn't think I had anything to offer these people. So I would be I was hesitant to go up and have conversation. And what I found is that they had the same problems. They just had a lot more zeros behind their issues. And it was great because, I was able to network. And when I found myself getting to those size of companies, I had people I could reach out to and contact and call. I'm a firm believer that you got to go out there. It might be uncomfortable for you. It might stress you out a little bit. And it did to me. And my mom always was like, I can't believe you get so shy in these things. I know. I go, Mom, I was 25. I felt inadequate. I didn't feel like I had anything, like I said, to offer to give. But I would highly recommend, don't do what I did. Get outside of it. Go talk to as many people. I think you're right, Cheryl. Networking is important.
Yeah, and I think, look, even the most outgoing adult, if you drop in a room of 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, I mean, some of these events are mammoth, right? It seems unnatural just to randomly walk up to somebody and be like, hey, I'm Chris Chickenelli, and I want to meet you. But if you think about those times where you're getting coffee, or maybe you're looking for a seat at the event, or you make eye contact and you smile at somebody, a conversation will come.
A conversation will come. All right. So Cheryl, let me ask you this other question. Speakers. Have you always agreed with every speaker you've ever listened to?
Oh gosh, no.
I love when people go, I don't know if I really agree with that speaker or not speaker. I'm always like, does it matter? I mean, but have you been able to take something away when you hear some of these people speak?
For sure. I think it's either a validation that you're rooted in your values, in your techniques, and your beliefs. Mm-hmm. There's been certainly some speakers that have challenged how I look at things and my viewpoint. And so I don't know if for me it's a right or wrong, but it's like, what can I take away? And look, unless it's somebody that's a really awful speaker, which, thankfully you don't run across too many of those, there's got to be a nugget. But you know me, I dissect the whole presentation and their language and body language and how the crowd reacts. So it's that entire environment that I'm taking in.
Well, I will tell you right now, I know as a company, as a group, and as a team, we sit down before we go to conference and we literally decide who's going to what classes. We go through the itinerary. I hate when people show up at conferences or they go to these trainings. They invest all this money in there and they don't do any pre-homework. They don't look at the trainers. They don't look at their Facebook pages. They don't look at kind of do some research on them. That is some of the most important time that we, even as a group, we sit back and go, okay, what do we want to go to and why? How is it going to help us out with our business? And that's because we can't attend everything. And some of the stuff doesn't pertain to a person like me. Like me sitting through some of the maybe technology classes is not going to be the best. Now, Heather Snell or sending Sean Lee or somebody like that, one of our team members, might be the best thing for it. But we literally are methodical about how we do that. How important is doing your pre-homework on the classes, the speakers, the things that are being offered to going?
I think, if there's multiple classes and breakouts offered at one time, if you can divide and conquer with the people that you work with, awesome, right? And that's what we do on a regular basis because one person's topic is not going to be somebody else's topic. So I do think you need to do your pre-homework. And I also think, too, like there are some topics that you should go to that bring you out of your comfort zone, that might not be where you consider your expertise, because if you can learn the lingo, right? If you can see who else is in the room and you can meet some of those people and you can connect with that topic, it's only going to help further your confidence.
Yeah, I totally agree because I'm a proponent of like some of the people, you see them get up and speak and they're giving you all this advice and you're like, well, what makes this person the expert on that? And I used to do that until I started like really Googling people and be like, oh, that's why. So doing my homework, making sure too, as you're getting there, I think it's always important to follow up with the speaker. I think it's always great to send them a nice email, a nice whatever, and don't be afraid to ask the follow-up question if you didn't get it answered in the setting. Now, it doesn't mean every speaker, everybody's going to have time to return, but I think it's one of those things that I see so many people go, gosh, I wish I would have asked that one question, or I wish I would have reached out to them. Don't be afraid. I mean, we do that today and people still hit us back
I
up.
love when people reach out to us after they've met us or they've seen us present or provide info. And look, these individuals that you're watching, they're experts in their field.
Yeah.
They should be experts in their field,
Yeah,
right? So
be.
I think most are very happy to interact with people after the fact. And if they can't answer your question, well, they're going to have a network where they can connect you with somebody.
Yeah. Well, listen, as we're getting into the networking season, as we're getting into conference season, people getting ready to go, it's like what Stephen Covey said, you got to keep that saw sharpened, baby. You got to keep making sure that you're staying as sharp as a tack and you're putting some time into your business, making sure you're investing back. Cheryl, any last minute type of kind of information, advice you can give to somebody as we're getting ready for, big, huge events coming up?
Anybody that's looking to grow, it's best to step out of what they're doing every single day and take a few moments to really look at what they're doing. So for us, it's a gift to be able to step out of the everyday routine and step into a conference, a training event, someplace where we can refuel, we can decide, are we going down the right path? Do we have the right tools? Do we have the right players? And I think giving yourself is a gift. That's a gift. That's an investment for long term.
Hey, listen, you're not an employee, you're the employer, you're the CEO, you're the rainmaker, you're the marketer, you're the person that wants to go out there and drive the business. Remember, living life by design is living it on your own terms. You got to find as many people that you can to make your Pinterest board of what it is that you want for your business, for your family, for your life. Remember, you've always had that pen to create your chapters to your book. Live life by design, not by default. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, everybody. Have a great day.